This is another video dealing with what happens when someone passes away. So my client was a lovely woman. She was in her 80s, very sweet. And her husband had died. She'd made a decision she was going to move to a retirement home. So he had a son from a first marriage. So as we were going through, they had not had any children together. So as we were going through the house, there were a lot of things that she wanted to pull out for his son. They both had had a love of golf. There was some really amazing artwork that was golf related. So we pulled all those items out. We put them in the garage. There were some of his father's awards and things like that. We put those in the garage for the son. We put some of the personal items of his father in the garage for the son. And then she called him and said, I'm cleaning out the house. I'm moving. So I have things for you. Please, let's set up a time. And he came over one evening and picked up those things. And then after he loaded up all the things in the garage, he walked right into her house. Didn't ask, just walked in and started walking around and picking up things he wanted and loading them up in his car. She had no idea what to do. She didn't know how to say anything. She just stood there while he walked through her house and gathered up anything he wanted. And when I got there the next morning, she was devastated. She felt violated, which she should have. And she just was beside herself. She said, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I was here by myself. He didn't ask. He just walked in and started taking things. And of course, some of the things were things that were important to her that she still wanted. That's not cool in any way, shape, or form. Fast forward a few years. So I have another client. Second husband, they both had been married before. She had, I think, 1 or 2 sons from her previous marriage, and he had children from his previous marriage. So he dies. She's left everything. So she, again, was moving to a retirement home. She had some health issues, and she thought it was important she get in a retirement home. So as we're going through the downsizing process, we're setting things aside and putting them out in the garage for his family. So when it came time for them to be called, I told her about my previous experience with my other client. So what we did was we put everything in the garage. She called and set up a time for his children to come pick those things up. And she did it at a time when I could be there. So we locked the house, first of all. And the son and the daughter and the son's wife came. And he started looking through the things, and some of it he wanted, some of it he wasn't sure, and they started loading things up. Of course, it's the garage, so he started walking around going, well, what about this, what about that? Well, she's moving to a retirement home. It was like, fine, take whatever you want. Then there were some things that were still in the house that he wanted. And my client said, well, no, those are still mine, and I want them for the time being. You can have them when I pass away. And he wanted to get in the house, and the house was locked. So he started to try and bully her, and I stepped in. And I'm like, you don't seem to understand. The house is closed up. What's in the house is hers. It's not yours. You may have these things that she has pulled out and set aside for you. Well, he got in my face pretty well and got nasty, but I didn't back down. And there wasn't much he could do about it. But had she been alone, he probably would have bullied her and gotten really nasty, and she probably would have caved. So if you're in that situation, okay, get somebody to stay with you. Get a neighbor, get not necessarily one of your kids, that's probably too much confrontation, but a friend, get somebody to stay with you. And just say, house is locked. These are the things I've set aside for you. Please, tell me anything that you want, and I will leave it to you in my will. But don't let people bully you, and for heaven's sakes, don't let somebody just walk into your house and help themselves to your stuff. That first client was just devastated. I could hardly console her. And people, if you're the stepchild, maybe you talk to your parent before they pass away and say, hey, this stuff is really important to me, that I get this, that it was mom's or it was yours or whatever. Can you make sure that I get it? Or, give it to me now if they're willing to do that. But you don't just walk into somebody's house and take things. That's just, it still makes me angry now. If you found this video to be helpful, please leave me a comment. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you'll see more of my videos in the future.